Today, I am your host. My name is Chuck Gouge with Aristopedia, and helping me on the webinar presentation is Joanne Pacina. She'll be monitoring the question board that you can interact with. On the next slide, we'll give you some of the ground rules of today's presentation. All of your lines, audio are muted, but there is a question board available on the control panel. So please feel free to go into that question board, type in any questions. We'll try to answer them either real time or at the end of the webinar, but we will be monitoring that. If we miss something, if you think of something after the webinar, you can send a follow-up question or comment to Chris at cbarlow@knowhow401k.com or his direct phone number. Or for those of you who know us at Aristopedia, you can write to us at support@aristopedia.com. Take it away, Chris.
Chuck, thank you very much, and I want to thank all of you who have taken time out of your day to be with us. This is really a wonderful support. Thank you very much, Aristopedia, for producing this webcast today and giving me an opportunity to speak to your audience out there. This is kind of an overview of the agenda, if you will. I'll just give you a brief overview of who I am and why I do what I do, how I go about my work, that good kind of stuff. And then I just want to share with you two statements I hear from advisors that I work with, that I talk to them about their TPA partnership out there. And then I want to kind of give you some ideas that if you're not already implementing out there, that maybe they'll give you some insight and some things that you can do to strengthen and grow relationships with 401k advisors out there. This is me. I won't tell you how old this picture is. I think we're all pretty much guilty of that, so I'll just move on. So what I want you to know about me is that I've been not only in this business for quite a few years. When I came into 401k sales, where now the market is nearing the $6 trillion mark, when I began it was zero. And that was at Merrill Lynch. And so back in the 90s, and at that time I'd already been with Merrill Lynch for about 7 years. But back in the early 90s, as you know, it was then that the small, mid-sized companies started to put in place 401k. And if they had a profit-sharing plan or a money purchase or a target benefit, we simply amended and added the 401k feature and took over some assets sometimes, but otherwise it's been a terrific journey. Vast majority of my 35 years have been spent in the 401k marketplace. I'm very passionate about the advisor's role in the 401k marketplace and the American retirement savings system in general, but specifically how they work with plan participants and plan sponsors in the 401k marketplace. So passionate about it that I, as a salesperson, actually took the time that was necessary to write 2 books. One was bad enough. I just thought I'd write another one. And they've been really great exercises to get my thoughts out there and share with others, help steepen the learning curve for advisors out there in the marketplace. That's basically what I do day in and day out as I work with advisors around the nation, for the most part one-on-one, but I do group webcast as well. But I help them to either launch, grow, or improve their 401k business out there. And I absolutely believe my purpose is to help as many Americans as possible to retire with too much money. And my tool of choice are advisors. And so if I can increase the number of effective advisors that serve plan participants, then I'll go a long way in accomplishing my purpose. What I also believe is that third-party administration firms and advisors are natural partners when it comes to serving qualified plans. You each have your own disciplines, but you have a single focus of service to the employer and to the employees out there. I came up in 401k sales selling bundled programs. I was at Merrill Lynch. I wholesaled the Merrill Lynch program, wholesaled John Hancock, Prudential, I clearly came up through the bundled world out there. And one day I met, when I was in retail production, I met the best TPA in my territory. And we started to jointly profile and present to local employers. And my close ratio went way up, and I learned so much about the value that third-party administration firms were to my success. What you'll notice in all of my work, I promote the partnership between advisors and third-party administration firms based on what it is I just told you out there. So I really think that anything that I can do to promote the partnership, it'll go a long way in helping me to accomplish my overall purpose. The TPA that I joined, really joined my wagon to, if you will, he gave me the understanding as to the difference between bundled and unbundled in the big picture sense. He said, you know, what it really comes down to is this, is that the economic viability of each partner in an unbundled program is contingent upon the successful execution of their discipline, meaning if they disappoint, they can be unplugged and interchanged with another one out there. And it was that type of power of flexibility, as well as most employers, and you know this, the vast majority of plans are 100 and fewer. Those size employers really rely upon local professionals to help them to manage their business, whether it's a CPA or an attorney or property casualty agent, whatever it happens to be. So it's a comfortable place for employers. Advisors need to understand that and leverage into that reality in the marketplace. So I just want to talk to you about two statements, because I do talk to advisors throughout the day, and I do ask them about their business, and I ask them about relationships that they have with third-party administration firms and why they work with them, all part of the coaching that I do with advisors. These are the kind of two typical statements I'll hear them say. You know, even though they understand the reality, you know, of the marketplace, I do hear them say, you know, I give them referrals, but I never receive any back. And I do take it upon myself to really help them to understand that. And I wish I had a better statement here, but you are a slave to many masters. You get referrals from a lot of different advisors. You get referrals from a lot of different CPAs. I'm sure the CPAs feel the same way, you know, about getting referrals. And I think that, you know, the advisors understand when they understand your business model out there. But I really, truly believe honesty and openness go a long, long way. What advisors want is what employers want. They want a long-term relationship with you. And that all starts with a very strong, open environment out there. The other statement that I hear advisors make is that I work with partners that invest in my success. And, you know, when you're, with all due respect, a slave to many masters, that might be a tough one, right? What I encourage third-party administration firms to do, as I would advisors, just choose a few. Focus on the few. And you can self-define who these folks are. You know, advisors that you can count in and year out. If they do skip a year, it's more of a capacity issue than it is taking business elsewhere. You stay in touch with them. You have a formal communication with them ongoing. To me, it's a matter of spending the time with them to better understand, if you're not already doing this, to understand their business and for them to understand yours. I think it's very appropriate for you to publish a simple joint business plan. It's something that I work with advisors to do. It's certainly a simple template for you to undertake. And maybe including them in your events and newsletters out there. As far as a simple business plan, where I start when I work with an advisor in building their business plan is just answering a series of questions. And this will help you to better understand their business, and then you share with them as well history, why you do what you do with your value statement, who your target, what kind of companies do you work best with, what other center of influence, professionals, referral sources do each of you work with. So both of you will be answering these questions, giving each other a better understanding of each other's story out there, and then talking about realistic outcomes. You know, what should each of you expect from each other out there? So as far as history goes, tell me about your past before becoming an advisor, as well as your current business. The value statement. What is it that you want your plan sponsor clients to know about you and your business serving the 401k market? A prospect, a target. Describe your prospect plan, type of industry, number of employees, asset size, proximity, etc. And then the network. Perhaps you're working with similar professionals in the territory out there, but who are they? Who are you currently working with? Build an acquisition plan, a joint acquisition plan. Build a joint service model with them. Do you currently have an annual client event or more frequent? And, you know, here's one of those tough decisions. You know, if we're going to isolate and define these top advisors, ask them, do you want to speak? Do you want to public speak? A lot of advisors don't want to public speak, but those that do, maybe work them into your annual client event. Do you have a newsletter? Advisors, no matter who they are, registered reps or RIAs, they can get access to pre-approved articles to publish out there. So they can help when you're looking for content as well. It's a great way to promote them. Build a very simple joint service model. This is a service model example that I work with advisors to prepare for their own business. And you'll be given the opportunity to take a closer look at this, but if you can see down here in the legend area, I have it designated plan sponsor and plan participant. Well, these are the respective initiatives that advisors could execute during any given time, during any given year, for both the plan sponsor and the plan participants, and they're color-coded. Well, if you add your administrative compliance tasks, you know, that are clearly scheduled throughout any given year, what you have here is almost a Christmas tree, right? It lights. The employer's clearly going to see how you both work on their behalf throughout the given year, executing your respective responsibilities. So choose those top advisors that you want to work with, and look to develop, if you haven't done so already, a communication piece that they could share with their prospects when you're not around. I'm going to give you just a brief introduction as to one of the programs I provide to know how to kind of strengthen the support that third-party administration firms have with their advisors in their area. And I wanted to begin by just sharing a quote from one of my licensees. Many of you may know Pat Shelton. He's very active. I believe he's either the current president or the past president of NIPA. But he's he is my first client with the workshop program I'll show it to you here momentarily. Why he uses this type of support, this value added, right, to help answer that question advisors pose, that statement. I work with partners that invest in my success. So what I've done is I've put online the 401k sales training program that I've been developing over 35 years now as an advisor, as a wholesaler, as a consultant coach to advisors in the marketplace. And what I do is I provide to my third-party administration firms exclusive geographic territory licenses. We customize the site. Anywhere you see the know-how logo, we put the third-party administration firm logo. It's online. which means we can track who's watching the videos, how much. It's great for follow-up purposes. And then also it comes with promotional materials so that you can send out messaging to advisors, etc. This is the site for one of my licensees in Columbus and Cleveland. Excuse me, Ray and Associates. Up there in the top left-hand corner, you see who it is, and then the right-hand corner giving the contact info. This is a video-based program. Each one of these segments is a video. There's 36 of them. It takes about 9 hours to get through. But this clearly is a program that those advisors that are either launching, beginning, or growing their 401k business can get great value out of, steepen their learning curve. It's very much from the perspective of a financial advisor. And throughout my videos, I talk about working with their sponsor, you, perhaps, or their local TPA. So in addition to the videos, I also give them 30 e-tools. And each one of these e-tools is introduced during a respective video. One of the most popular e-tools is called the Production Analysis Manager. And this tool answers the age-old question that advisors ask: how much money can I make building a 401k book of business over a period of years? In addition to a lot of tools to help them to really confirm not only do they want to spend time pursuing this business, but also confirm that they have the activities defined to achieve their goals. I also give them the words. So management of the relationship with the receptionist, a series of openers, 14 different openers, sample voicemail messages. I think you get the message here. It's kind of a soup to nuts 401k sales and service training brought to them by their favorite third-party administrator out there. So I've set you all up to be able to access the workshop if you're interested through July 15th. And I'm going to ask you to take down the address. It's knowhow401k.biz, www.know, can't even spell my own URL, knowhow401k.biz. That's knowhow, knowhow, 401k.biz. Your user ID is Arisapedia at Arisapedia.com, Arisapedia at Arisapedia.com, and the password is grow sales, all one word, all lowercase. So I'm going to turn it back over and see if we have any questions in the queue. I want to again thank you all for taking your time to listen to me talk about strengthening and growing relationships with advisors, and a little bit of an overview of how I do promote the partnership between third-party administrators and advisors in the marketplace.
Thanks, Chris. Joanne, do you have anything we can?
Yeah, we do actually have one question, Chris, and I'll just read this through. You gave us a few questions to ask advisors to better understand their business. What questions do you or would you encourage advisors to ask us?
Well, you know, as I said, I would encourage that advisor to ask similar questions concerning history and target and all that good kind of stuff. But, you know, I do encourage advisors to talk to you about their competition because you are, again, with all due respect, a slave to many masters. You know who they are. You work with them. You don't have to name them by name, but talk about their strengths, talk about their weaknesses, those types of things. And the second question I want them to ask you is for you to tell them what are the top 3 topics you want to make sure that come out about your firm during every sales presentation that you have with employers. So what are the top three reasons, if you will, that an employer should do business with your firm, that you want to come out in every sales presentation? That's part of knowing their story, knowing your story, knowing what's best. But again, I think open communication, understanding what each other is looking for out there really goes a long way in helping you to grow and strengthen relationships with advisors.
Somebody asked if you could go back to your slide with your URL on it, Chris.
You mean the one I misspelled?
Yeah.
www.know, I missed the W, HOW401k.biz. I apologize. Any additional questions?
And I think somebody's
No.
asking for email addresses, but we'll have that at the last slide. If you have any questions, though, please feel free to reach out to either Chris at knowhow401k.com or again support@aristopedia.com, or my specific email address is cgouge CGOUGE @aristopedia.com. And we'll be certainly glad. We work a lot with obviously with compliance people, professionals such as TPAs and CPAs, and we found Chris to be a really good partner to help us kind of bridge that service model between the financial advisors' roles and the compliance professionals' roles. Chris works a lot, like he said, with financial advisors. We work a lot with compliance people, and I think we both know the relationship and how it should fit together. So thanks, Chris, for your presentation. If anybody has any questions or wants further information, please check out our websites, knowhow401k.com or aristopedia.com. I think that's it. Anything else, Joanne?
No other questions on the board.
Okay. Thanks, everybody, for attending, and have a great rest of your week and hopefully a good 4th of July holiday if you take off. Take care.